Okay, very good. Okay, so welcome everybody. I'm glad that so many of you came from the east tonight. Apparently, those coming from the west may not be joining us this evening, but it's good to see everyone. Everyone having a good summer so far, one full day into it, right? If someone could just clear up for me, I never understand this. When does summer officially start? I always hear summer solstice and then first day of summer. Are they two different days?
No,
all the same day?
So summer technically started at, I think, 6:34 last night.
Yes. Oh, so we don't count last night? We only count today?
No, starting.
After
so
6:30.
from like 6:30, it was summer last night.
So is today the first day of summer or yesterday?
Technically, full day, yeah.
Okay.
First morning of summer.
Yeah.
So enjoy the next 90 days.
Okay, got it. I never understood that technically. Like if I wanted to do something summer solstice, do I run out there, would I go out there last night and do something, or do I?
Yeah, last night.
Okay,
well,
that's
last night it
what I
was
wanted to
huge
know.
because of the full moon.
Right.
So
Okay.
there'll not be another full moon on the summer solstice until 2062.
Okay.
Wow.
Missed that one. When?
You have that.
I'll make sure I'll throw a big seminar party on the next summer solstice that falls on the full moon. Whenever you want to mark your calendars, and we'll all be there. Okay, 2062, everybody. We'll meet. I'll give you plenty of advance notice. We probably won't be using email by then or newsletters, but I will find a way. We'll probably be using like Pony Express by then because we always like to go back. We like to, revisit nostalgia, right? Anyone pick up their vinyls this weekend? I wish I still had my record player. You know? Yeah, I think I have tons of albums if anyone wants to buy them. But I don't have anything to play them on. Yeah, I guess I could sharpen a fingernail and then just start scratching.
I'm sure it'll sound great.
Yeah. Oh,
Well, they're coming back, so.
yeah, that's what I guess so. You probably could pick up a
record player.
little record player / MP3
One with
player
the little
for nothing.
briefcase, the little briefcase. Yeah, right.
That's funny. All right, so welcome everybody. Welcome those of you who are here for the first time. And I would love for Michelle to say a word or two about what's going on with American Heart. I know May was a very big month, but I know you still have things going on.
One more event. We just had a golf event on Monday, and we did extremely well. And if we didn't, it would have been fine because the day was magnificent. I mean, it was a gorgeous day out Monday. This Saturday is our Hamptons Hardball, so this will be our last event of the fiscal year. So we are thrilled.
When is it?
This Saturday.
Oh wow!
Out in Bridgehampton.
Okay.
So it's at the Hayground School, and it's fun. So it's a little bit of an eclectic group of people who come. It's a lot different than Nassau County's hardball.
Okay.
But it's fun. So it just shows that you need to get to. The reason why we have so many different events is that you have a different audience at each event. So for walkers, you have people that are interested in walking or doing whatever. We have a bike ride. You have a luncheon where it's an awareness for women. So basically, we're trying to touch as many people as we possibly can, and introduce to them, if they haven't already noticed, that they should get themselves as well. So that's what we're doing. So everything is good. End of season, great summertime, and if you are interested in the Heart Walk, it is in September 18th. I think it's a Sunday. It's at Jones Beach. It's a lot of fun. Love for you to help us raise awareness. That would be great. And if you need any information on program and mission that you could bring into your businesses or, whatever, they're free programs. I can come out. We can do CPR training. We do many different things. So just keep that in mind as you're out and about. And
all right. And if anybody's interested in putting a team together for the walk in September, I always say just contact me, and I'll coordinate people and put you in touch with each other, okay? Or put it together yourself, a team.
And I have number 14 grandchild coming in.
Great.
Wow. Wow. Aww. That's so cool. Good for you. Okay, let me just go briefly over my calendar of what's coming up. I'm participating in a summit. It's an online summit. I do these regularly, but this one happens to be this month. They have I don't know exactly how many speakers, but they did finally give me the date that my interview will be, which is the 28th of June. So you can register, and then you participate in listening to any of the ones that you want to. They'll always tell you what the topic is or who the speaker is each day, but I believe it's one a day for a period of time. So mine's on the 28th. I don't know the time. I wish I did, but you'll get that information if you register for it. Oh, do they?
If you put your email in, then
Okay,
they
then
email you the speakers that are on that day.
Okay, good, thanks. Thanks. And over the summer, we've always changed the schedule up for the Enlightenment Power Groups, the city one and this one. So I'll give you the new schedule. Because we are having our fifth annual summer sunset seminar in the sand with supper, s'mores, and
Sounds?
and sound. There was another one. I can't think of what it was. Darn it, I would get it right. But because we have our in Southampton.
Sandwiches.
Sandwiches and salad and stuff.
And Sundays.
Lots of stuff. Lots of stuff. So the S seminar, the annual one, is on July 21st this year, which is a Thursday. As many of you know by now, a lot of people will carpool, spend the day out there, hang out on the beach. A lot of people will bring instruments, so I'll speak for a little while. It's the day that I give my mid-year review. I basically listen to guides and see what the energy will be like for the balance of the year, similarly to what I do in January when I set forth what the energy for the year is like. It gives you a boost, it lets you connect, and for a lot of people, it gives them that thrust that helps them to align with the energy that's already available to help them support you for the rest of the year. Hello, welcome. And so because we have that on the 21st of July, we won't be having the EPG here in Plainview, okay? But we will be having the EPG in New York City, which is really well attended as well. And that, even though it's normally the second Monday of the month, just to kind of keep everything all balanced, it happens to be on July 19th next month. So if it's something that you normally can attend on a Monday, this will be the first time that it's on a Tuesday. So consider that when you're looking at your calendar. Great group. I don't think that tonight there's anyone here that was there last week, but usually we have a bunch of people that go to both. But we had a really wonderful, wonderful time last week at it. And also, the luxury, gorgeous spa that I speak at periodically, I've asked them for many years if they could have me speak during the week when the rates are cheaper. And this is the first time after so many requests that they're accommodating that request. So I'll be there during their lesser rates from a Sunday through a Wednesday. It's a phenomenal place. I wanted to really give my clients an opportunity to enjoy that luxury and everything that goes along with the visit to that spa without paying those, Friday and Saturday night rates, which are a little tiny bit high, a little tiny bit lower Sunday through Wednesday. So if you do get a break and you have some vacation time and that seems like something that you want to do, come and join me there. I'll be there Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And your fee, even though it might sound a little pricey, it includes everything. Once you get there, you don't have to take a penny out for anything. Tons and tons of classes, art, cooking, photography, sports, hiking. I mean, every single thing you could possibly imagine under the sun is available. So it's really fun for people to try some things a la carte that they haven't tried before. That's one of the things that makes it so wonderful to be there. And that's pretty much it. I think it's all the public things I have going on right now. And as we talked about last month, I'm going to be prompted to put some kind of sentence up on the board at some point by your guides tonight. I don't know what it is. Last month I could tell some of you were like thinking, she's not going to do it, because we were getting down to the wire. They're like, she forgot, and boom, there was the sentence right in the nick of time. And you guys were asked to do a homework assignment, I believe, about the sentence that was put on the board. And, one of my favorite times of the evening, but did anyone do the homework that they would like to share? Anyone? Would you want me to remind you and you can make something up really quickly right now? You know, it's interesting. New York City, everyone does the homework all the time. So I don't want to put any pressure on you guys. But when I'm putting those grades in at the end, it does count. It does count. Everyone does the homework all the time. Okay, we were talking about remedial group. This is the remedial group. They don't even know how to drive here. The other guys know how to get on the subways and take Uber and whatever else is out there. You guys don't even know how to get here. Sorry.
I don't think I put it on.
No?
I don't think I wrote down.
Okay. All right, so I'm not going to put any more pressure on anyone here. And I don't have the exact phraseology. Do you, Jeannie? I used to,
think.
I used to think.
And now I know.
I don't know if think was in it. No, wasn't
You're right,
think.
I took a picture of it.
Yeah, okay. It was basically, we're talking about flip switching your thoughts for a manifestation of the life that you want. And the phrase was, I used to, you fill in the blank, but now I blank. So it was to take something, we're so patterned into believing that once something becomes a habit or a part of our lives that it's going to repeat itself and that that's all that we can expect for the future. So to break that pattern is to become conscious of the things that it is that are rattling around in your head as an expectation of something not going the way that you would want it to go. So instead of saying, oh, you know what, I have an interview, but you know, I never do well in an interview. So you're setting yourself up energetically for not having a successful interview. So you would take that particular phrase instead of saying, I used to be challenged during my interviews, and now after the but, you switch it. The but would then be, but I feel confident, I feel ready, optimistic, and capable, and I'm excited about this interview. And the idea is to keep changing it around and keep changing it around until you realize the energy flow just by changing the sentence. Your body catches up to your words if you repeat the words with at least some level of conviction, that on some realm or some level you have a believability factor in it. Can't be something that you totally disbelieve or don't think is possible at all. But if you have a little bit of believability tucked in there, then you start to change the energy of what it is that you manifest. All right? So now, that being said, anyone want to cheat? Tell me what you did for your homework. No? Good.
I used to do my homework, but
You know what, it's always funny because this group in particular, because we're on Long Island, I have so many private Enlightenment power groups. So you get homework at your private group, you get homework in your coaching, you get homework in my monthly essay, you come here and you get more homework. You guys are like, no, I'm not doing it. And eventually Karen will catch up to the fact that we're not doing it. But until then, who knows? I might still try. We'll see what happens at the end of the night. Maybe you won't get a sentence tonight. Maybe that's what will happen.
Does that mean no homework?
You know, it's funny. As soon as I said that punishment thing, I looked in the back and looked at that time image.
Yeah.
So I'm not allowed to dole out any repercussion or consequence whatsoever. You guys are great. You're always great. You'll always be great. Okay. Time over there reminded me that you guys are the best.
yay!
You know, funny, first time all night I saw that thing. Woo, now I'm going to see it all night. That's funny. Someone hide that for me. We'll have the happy face up here. There you go. Thank you. Thank you. I actually had some people who view online that do the live stream type their answers out and send them in to me. So again, no pressure. No pressure. And you know, so should I read any of them? One in particular that popped out at me that somebody sent in. I think everybody can identify with, and what she had written was, I used to feel stress, comma, but now I So since most of us feel some kind of stress at some point, whether it's time stress, money stress, whatever it is, relationship stress, whatever, see if you can, for yourself in your head, just take a moment to fill in the blank. I used to feel stress, but now I blank. Mine, personally, I shouldn't tell you until you think for a second. You got something in your head?
Yeah.
Huh? Megan, do you have something in your head?
Yeah, it was don't.
Thank you to the guys for making me call on Megan for that brilliant answer. Yeah, that's my daughter, everyone. In case you're wondering where she got that profundity from. Just chip off the old block. I used to feel stressed and now I don't. Okay? Not the remedial class. Not the remedial class at all. Anyone want to see if they can upswing that just a wee bit?
Yes.
Let it cry. Terry, please. What can you do for us?
I let it go.
I let it go. I like that. That's good. I used to feel stressed and now I let it go.
That's good. I breathe.
I breathe. That's
what I
awesome.
said.
Huh?
That's what I thought. Breathe.
I breathe? Okay,
So
cool.
don't.
After don't. I didn't think
Yeah, I wasn't
it was the first thing that popped in your head.
Don't either.
That's
No.
a true flip switch. That's how you do it. That's how you get it done. Boom.
And now I laugh.
And now I laugh. Okay, I like that. I could do that. Yeah, I like that. Cool. Anyone else? Yeah.
Remain calm.
Now I remain calm.
Yeah.
Even that feels good if you say that, and now I remain calm. Awesome. All right, mine is, and I do have to use it sometimes. I know everybody knows that my only stress is time, but I have a good explanation for that, why it's my only stress. Because in the energy realm, there's no such thing as time, and I spend so much time there, but there's no such thing as time when I'm spending it there. And because I spend so much of my energy there, coming back to Earth and managing this thing that you all call time is really increasingly challenging. So I do say I used to be time stressed, but now I know time is my ally, and I do find that helps. Time is my ally. And it helps me to shift the way that I think and the way that I'm processing whatever's on my plate. Okay? All right, so for homework, bring back instantaneous manifestation stories of using that flip switch sentence. It's a theoretical homework assignment, okay?
We don't do
If
it.
you can't remember it in 1 month, you're certainly not going to remember it until we come back
We
in
don't do
August.
homework.
You're definitely not going to remember it that long. Okay, so just double checking, everyone, is there anyone that does not want to be included in the possibility of being read at the end of the night when I pull names out of who to read? Anyone not want to be included? If you don't want to say it out loud, just see me during the break, okay? Next, let's talk about the news. There's a lot of news right now. Anyone have a particular story that they would like to bring up? This is always an opportunity to get a different angle or a different perspective about what's really happening in your world and perhaps realign how you are focusing on it or how you're seeing other people focus on it, perhaps. Anyone have a news story that they want to bring up?
Well, Orlando.
That was a pretty tone.
Which one?
Sorry. Yeah, no, that was a pretty sound, right? Right there. Okay, I obviously expected that somebody would be talking about Orlando. And there's no doubt that it's on everyone's mind. And some of the big challenges or crises that have happened over the last 6 months or so, we haven't spent a lot of time talking about them here because ultimately some of the similarities between them, the answers then also become similar. But this, of course, is an anomaly. 3 incidents in a short period of time in one particular region like that, and each incident being so unusual. It is capturing the attention not only of us, but it's really capturing the attention of the world right now, understandably. So my role in being here with you and to talk about it is I've done my best to not talk about it in private Enlightenment Power groups very much, because I know that with it coming up here, it's better for me to not have a lot of preconceived ideas of what it is that they want to share with you, and it comes fresher. But I did get a hint here and there. And as we understand in the context of everything that happens in the world, there is nothing random. And it's so important that we understand over and over and over again that there's nothing random. That science has proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that everything happens with purpose. And you can go and you can study the branch of science that helps us to understand that, which is chaos theory. But if you can take the results and apply it to your understanding of our reality, you get to use the benefit of that science to make your perceptions change and shift, perhaps for the better. So understanding that there's nothing random, that means that everything has purpose. And it doesn't mean necessarily that there's any such thing as, people who are being caught up or energetically inviting it in or anything like that. There are a lot of major incidents that happen. There are a lot of big story things that happen that are not just for the development of the individual souls that are involved, but oftentimes they're opportunities for discovery for a lot of people. And as we have mentioned in the past, I know from the time that I'm spending in the energy realm, the place where our consciousness exists when we're not in human form, in the energy realm, we don't care how many years we live. It's a hard concept to wrap your head around. But there's no particular badge for being here 91 years versus 91 days. What we are focusing on when we return home, when we're going through that review of what was this earth life like, what did I manifest, what did I discover, what imprint did I leave, did I increase my vibration of love? What we're looking at when we go home is what was I able to contribute, what was I able to take, how was I able to grow, how was I able to help others grow. And also without any judgment of our own journey, we also don't look at ourselves with lack, saying we should have, we needed to, why didn't we? We look at our journey with comprehension. We completely understand why we did or did not do everything that it is that we did or did not do. And we look at this through the eyes of love, not judgment, not negativity. So the most important thing to understand is that even though we as humans have qualifiers as to how long we think a person should live to, be justified. I don't know what that is to make a life, worth being here as long as you could possibly be here, having a long life, a good life. Our version of it isn't true from a universal truth perspective. But what is true is what are we doing as souls? What are we doing with our energy? What impact do we have when we're here? And also in talking about this particular last couple of weeks and these incidents, it's what are we doing? What impact do we have when we return home? And I always see this over and over again, whether a client is losing someone they love or we have a big incident where people are returning home. I always see that the people who are leaving their bodies and returning to our eternal journey, they leave gifts racked up for every single person that they know. And the more they know you, the more presence they leave. And then as you begin to get degrees of separation away from knowing that person individually, the packages get fewer and fewer. But if you knew someone that had returned home during the Pulse incident, for example, you would be trying to open package after package after package after package of aha moments, truth, beauty, understanding, comprehension, growth. And all of the souls that returned home and all of your guides are going to try to help you open those packages. That's how we co-create our reality. That's how we co-create are opportunities for discovery. So the first thing is that even though it is tragic on earth to hear these stories, what we want to do, and maybe you need time to be able to get to this other version, but at some point it's a good idea to say, what growth can we experience from these incidents? What opportunity is there? What benefits are enfolded into these happenings? Because if everything has purpose, and we're here for the purpose of the soul's growth, that means that everything that happens positively or negatively has purpose for our souls to grow. And having the intention of being able to make those discoveries starts to help you soften what your reaction might initially be when you hear of these things that happen. So let's talk a little bit more specifically about Orlando. Welcome. Hello.
Hi.
How are you? Let's talk a little bit more specifically about Orlando. All right. First of all, we're still in a period where we are beginning the journey of becoming awake enough to be able to accept all people for exactly who and what they are. And even though we're making progress, and there's a lot of visible progress, there's always going to be groups of people that decide that they're going to hang back a few decades, or they're going to hang back a few hundred years or a few thousand years in their perceptions. And rather than continue the very, very slow process of getting people to wake up that most of our human history has experienced, very, very, very slow waking up, we're in a period of accelerated enlightenment, which means that the spark for us coming closer to truth are faster and a little bit harder. They're hard and they're quick. And because of our instantaneous connection and communication and travel opportunities that we have, the benefit in being able to be so connected now is that an incident that may have gone relatively unnoticed 50 years ago, therefore couldn't have the opportunity to create the ripples that it can have today, would have gone largely unknown. It might have been an obscure little bit of a newspaper, but you'd have to be attuned in order to get this information. But our connectedness now gives us almost instantaneous information. So we can ponder, we can converse, we can grieve, we can get insights, we can get aha moments, we can experience what the opportunities are asking us to experience. So as we're moving from being a society that sees ourselves as isolated and separate, and we see ourselves as needing to watch out for ourselves and live with a lens of judgment towards others as a way to make ourselves feel good about ourselves. As we're moving away from that archaic belief system into our new enlightenment that we're coming into, getting rid of those old ideas, they're happening. And they're happening by the tens of thousands. But the ones that are being stubborn and holding on to old beliefs, it takes a little bit more shake-up. And sometimes it takes a little bit more direct contact with an incident for it to feel real for someone. You know, think about, for an example, a congressman or a senator who's vehemently opposed to the laws that were passed allowing single-sex marriage. Now, they're opposed, they're voting no, and they're out there charging this fight. What happens the day that they find out that their own child is gay? What happens? Do you think that that's a coincidence? No. Everything is co-created for our benefit. The opportunities for waking up come in all sorts of packages, individually and collectively. So this is one more opportunity for all of us, those who are stubbornly set in old ideas, to wake up and to see that all people matter. That there is ultimately, from an eternal perspective, there's no separation between us. You know, why you are in a package that's that color or that sexuality or that religion or this is where you landed geographically or those are your parents. All of these factors were created for your benefit so that you could use this body and this lifetime to make your soul's discoveries. You know, am I lucky to be a white girl in 2016 who's a heterosexual? Maybe. Maybe it's hard, maybe it's easy. But whatever it is, this is my package right now, and I don't judge those who don't have this particular package. I've learned to release all judgment and to understand that as long as people are not doing harm to others, any choice that they make is okay. They have the freedom to make the choice that's right for them. And ultimately, I don't know if it'll be 10 years or 2,000 years, but ultimately all people on earth will see this, and chaos and war and all of the battles that we see among people over religion or sex or skin color or sexual orientation or whether they're born male or born female and stay that way, whatever it is that we're fighting constantly, all of this will melt away and we'll get to live like souls in the human experience, the way that we do when we're not in the human experience. We're aiming to create here what we get to experience when we're not here, which is freedom, which is unconditional love, which is no judgment of self or others, which is an understanding of the connectedness of all consciousness. And that's what it is that we're trying to create on earth. And there will be a continuation of incidents on earth that act as accelerating points to bring more people to the idea of thinking differently. I'm not a fan, everybody knows this, and I don't think a lot of people in this room are fans of watching the news. However, if you are asleep and you haven't gotten onto the path of enlightenment at all, you probably watch the news quite a bit. This is going to be one example of a time when I think that might not be such a bad thing. If you are anti-gay or you're a homophobe and you're watching this and you could see one person touch your heart, it could be the thing that shifts you forever. And then it could shift you as a parent, as a friend, as a neighbor, as a boss. And that's what goes on. It's an opportunity to shift. Are a lot of people going to take this and enter into this space and actually shift? Remains to be seen. But the outcry of people who are already experiencing acceptance, it's become so visible that even those who are intolerant or ignorant, at least they're hiding their ignorance a little bit more. And sometimes changing your behavior, your attitude catches up to the change of behavior. So it's a start. At least it's a start. It's better than no movement. Any questions or thoughts?
And I totally get what you're saying, but that's how it affects us. But what about how it does promote more hate for people? And how, you see what the government is doing in terms of bringing it to the Senate and what's happening there, and how there's no compromise with whatever. Like, how is that going to affect change in thinking?
I had no idea what the sentence would be, but you're giving me the sentence already for the night, okay? This is your sentence from your guides. That's the answer. When we're all collectively in a state of more ignorance, then we revolt. We revolt. We revolt with guns. We revolt with violence. When we become evolved, we don't revolt, we evolve. We create an evolution. So the answer here is that if hate is meeting hate, we're going to incite violence. But so many of the stories coming out right now have nothing to do with hatred or anger. They have to do with love and peace and unity. That's what we're seeing more and more of. I didn't see the details of the story, but I saw, anyone see the Angels story? Right? You did? I have to find, you saw it? Okay, I have to find a version of it to put on my Good News channel on Facebook, but I didn't find one. But, so I don't know the details, I'll say it very non-specifically. But a group of people who knew that protesters were coming to Orlando for some reason, what they did was they all dressed up as angels and with big wings, all white, head to toe, and they acted as a barricade between haters and the movement of love. You know, things like this happen, and that's what we want to keep focusing on, is the effect that love has. And keep focusing on the effect that love has, and watch extraordinary things that people do during extraordinary times. I know that, I think at Jones Beach, they're going to be having a concert on behalf of the victims' families. So things like this, we want to focus on, we want to support. I will find out exactly who will be playing at the Jones Beach concert, and I will feel a propensity toward wanting their music. So if I want to go search through music, I'm going to go look at those bands before I look at bands that are not associated with it, because I'm supporting the vibration of love. And that's the key, is that when we stay in anger, nothing moves forward. But when we stay in love, we evolve and we create an evolution. And there is an increasingly loud evolution going on. Not meaning that they're protesting in large or violent ways, but the singularity of their voice coming together in all of these mini events and actions that they're participating in or initiating. They're becoming louder because you can't not see them, you can't not hear them anymore. And that's what we're wanting to take away from all of this. That's what it is that we're wanting to learn. Eventually, as more people are choosing to outwardly express love and support and tolerance and acceptance, then again, the angry people will have nowhere to hide, even if it's only because it's socially unacceptable to voice views that are different. Does that help?
Very much so.
Okay. So there's your sentence of the night. Okay? Sentences. You got two, guys. All right, take the month of July off. Just have the beach party instead. Now, as far as the other two incidents in Orlando, you know, it is a big country. It's a big world. Yes, for those three to happen in one tiny region in 1 week, that's an anomaly worth investigating as well. So what are the guides saying about the fact that all three of these happened in Orlando? When we talk about manifesting our reality here, it's very clear, and we have learned and discovered that this is an illusion, that we're projecting our consciousness into this reality, and we're creating everything in our physical manifestation. We have the power to do it with a lot of strength in our own life and choices. Our happiness is very much a factor of what we are projecting with our thoughts and our beliefs and our actions. But we also are part of the collective. There's no one that is really isolated or living disconnected. We're not in vacuums. So since we don't live in vacuums, the energy of other people affects the projection of our reality as well. So many things are happening for you, by you, and for you, but a lot of what happens because of the collective projection. And in that, everything that's happening physically is a metaphor. Since it's an illusion, that means it's a metaphor. And when you start to really pay attention to the metaphors of your life, or the metaphors of the things that happen around you, it helps you to reconnect with your soul's understanding of what it means to be in the human journey. So let's not look at Orlando yet. Let's just look at life as a metaphor first, okay? If, for example, if Victoria wanted to open up a new business, and she's been talking about it for 6 years, and now she's telling me, well, I'm going to, but, I need a little more money in the bank. I'm going to, but, I'm going to move next Saturday. I'm going to, but, I want to buy a new car first. I'm going to, but, what is she doing? She's not moving forward. Metaphorically, moving forward as far as a metaphor of the body would be what we're doing with our legs. Our legs is a metaphor for moving forward. So if Victoria were my client and this were her predicament, she probably would have made an appointment with me because she just broke her right ankle. And she would say, I want to know, what's up? Why did I break my right ankle? And the guys would come in and say, well, let's talk about the last 6 years and how it's been difficult for you to put one foot in front of the other to manifest what it is that is your intention. And that's how metaphor works. Could she have a different opportunity to get this message other than a broken right ankle? Yeah, there's a lot of ways metaphorically that she can be shown from the whispers of the universe that she's not paying attention to something or finding her power inside of her. She might go out and start her car and the battery's dead. She goes out and starts it again and the battery's dead. She gets the battery replaced. The battery is still dead. She gets the alternator fixed. The battery is still dead. So she might make an appointment and say, what the heck is going on? My car is 2 years old and I've replaced everything to do with the electrical system now. What's going on? And again, the metaphor is that the universe is asking you to see that you're not tapping into your power, that you need something to get yourself started, to move forward, to get that engine going. And so that would be a quick way for you to start thinking, how can I get myself motivated to start this business that I can that I've been talking about? Or maybe it's time for me to say, for whatever reason, I don't want to start the business, and that's why I've been procrastinating for 6 years. But at least you're now having a conversation with the metaphors that are trying to talk with you. Okay? So that's metaphor. Orlando, 3 incidents in a week or so. Our version of Orlando is, for those of you who don't know how Disney World started, Disney World was a swampland. It was uninhabitable because you couldn't build there at all. So it was just thousands and thousands and thousands of acres of land that people didn't live on or drive over or drive through. And when Walt Disney had a vision of Disney World, he bought and bought and bought and engineered the building of Disney World there. So it's a created city. It was created through the eyes of someone that believed in magic. And it, just similarly to the way Las Vegas didn't exist and it was also uninhabitable, some person had a vision and said, I'm going to create this. Disney World is another version of a man-made city with an intention. And so over years and decades, this idea came to fruition. And within a very short period of time, it became known as the happy place, the place where everybody is happy. And the stuff that popped up around Disney World kept the theme going. There were theme parks, there were resorts. It was all about pleasure and taking time off and playing and imagination and creativity and magic and happiness. And even when you're at Disney World, if you've ever been there or Disneyland, the experience is supposed to be the happiest place on earth. And they take care of things for you. You're not supposed to see a gum wrapper because it might bring you back to reality that real people litter. That's too real. So things are They're orchestrated for you to have the happiest experience that you can have, okay? Now, here's the challenge with our belief in that version of reality. One of the things that's happening now, more so than other periods, is that people are postponing their happiness. They're becoming stressed. They're becoming pressured. Whether it's that they don't have the life partner of their dreams, or they're taking care of their parents, or their taxes are too high, or they only get 2 weeks of vacation a year, whatever it is that's creating a lot of stress, many, many people have gotten into a habit of postponing happiness until. And everyone's version of the until is different. They're not saying, I will be happy when, but all of their actions and thoughts and energy are adding to some date in the future that they perceive they can finally experience happiness. For many people, it's when I get married, or when I have my vacation week, or when my kid is out of diapers, or when I move to another state, or when I get a new job, or when I lose 15 pounds. But we have a version of when our happy day will be here. The challenge is, why wait? Why wait? Why wait? One of the most interesting things to witness is if you know someone that has an incredibly stressful job, and they have 2 weeks of vacation, and 1 week vacation a year, they take a trip, their annual trip to something. They put all their heart and soul into planning this trip. They put their money aside for the whole year. If you know anyone like that, and then you ask them about their last trip, it's likely that there was a whole bunch of mishaps on that trip. Because the universe doesn't want to coddle you into believing that postponing your happiness is a good idea. What it says is, we're going to do our very best to make this a little uncomfortable, so when you get back from this vacation, you can say, I'm relieved, and at least that one day you can wake up and say, I'm happy to be home. Therefore, you can not be postponing your happiness until the day you go on vacation, right? It's ironic, yes, but that's how the universe converses with us for our benefit, to prevent us from getting in these cycles that are not supporting our best growth and our best happiness. So because we postpone happiness, the ultimate metaphor on earth is the proverbial trip that everybody has to take their kids to, Disney World, at least one time in their lifetime. Hell or high water, we're going to get the kids there. And it's fascinating that I've actually come across quite a number of stories of people that this is creating a hardship for. You know, ticket prices, they're not low anymore. It's an investment of resources to go to Disney World. Between that and the hotel and the airfare and the expensive food when you're there, for a lot of families that believe that they can only be deemed a worthy parent if they get their kid to Disney World at least once in their lifetime, that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure. So the happy place on earth is now creating stress for many, many people. So it's changing the dynamic of something that's doable and fun and a little bit of advance notice and planning. Maybe we'll drive, maybe we'll do it this way, maybe we'll camp when we're there instead of staying in a hotel. Yes, I did that. Not by my choice. But maybe, no one even knows you can camp to go to Disney World, right? Nothing like fluffing up the cot after walking for 14 hours. Another person did it, right?
We stayed in Camp Wilderness. we were kids, my mom rented a camper, and we stayed and took the boat over to it, so I know what you're
Yeah,
talking about.
yeah, honey, we didn't have a camper. So we had to get the fire started with a flint first to cook that hot dog after 14 hours of
I get it,
walking.
though, 8 people, I'm one of 6 kids,
I
so
know,
8 people
I
in
know.
a camper this big,
Yeah.
so I get it.
Yeah, it's funny. It's just
Yeah.
it's a funny story.
Yeah.
I'm really not complaining. Disney World is Disney World, right?
This is
But-
when you were a kid. We did not.
Maybe a couple of trips. A little different. Yes, a little different. She did not even see a tent for the entire time we were in the city of Orlando. Actually, I don't think she's ever seen a tent, except for the one we put in our backyard for her and her friends' sleepovers. That's the only time she's seen a tent. But anyway, so the point is that there's an odd kind of metaphor with a bit of a contrast now, the happiest place on earth, but it's creating, for a lot of people, it's creating quite a bit of unhappiness to get there. And for those who can't ultimately afford the dream trip for their children, it's creating a feeling of lack, that they're not good enough, or that their kids here have one more kid that went to Disney World and they're not going, and it's being something that they're begging for. And it's adding a different kind of energy into the Disney World experience that didn't exist at this level 20 years ago. It just didn't exist at that level. Okay? So that's not the whole thing that's making the metaphor a little bit odd. But it is the idea, even for those who are saying, well, let's wait until Sarah is 3 and we'll go, or let's just have one more baby and then we'll go and the oldest is this or that. We're still postponing happiness. So it is the ultimate metaphor for postponing happiness for those who aren't getting there. And no matter how many people who go through Disney World every year, more people are not going through Disney World every year. And the metaphor is for those who are trying to get there, that want to get there, and to think that that magic of that week or those few days or that one day or whatever it is going to alter their lives and they're going to become happy people. And it's so interesting because of the fact that the city was manufactured for happiness. Okay? So this metaphor is the antithesis of happiness, the incidents that happened, all 3 of them at the same time. What it's doing is it's asking us to remember, don't buy into the idea that there's a time that you're going to be happier than today. It's not in Orlando, it's not when you graduate, it's not when the kid is out of diapers, it is now. If you choose to accept that, then this can be the happiest moment of your life. And then in a minute can be the next happiest moment of your life. And if you live that way, that no matter where you are, where you're visiting, what you're doing, what your economic or family or geographical or education status is, this can be your happy time, and so can tomorrow. And when you go to Disney World, that can be a happy addendum to a happy life. And if you choose to go, even the abundance of being able to go there and get there and stay there will feel not stressful. I used to stress when I went to Disney World, but now I don't. We're going to use that for a long time. Anyone have any questions? So we're in this, yeah, go ahead.
It is just so brilliant. It takes a tragedy to wake up people pretty much, and the majority of the people don't get it. So it's having people come here or having people come to places like here that have people get stuff. So it's more of how do we share what we know versus like what is actually out there.
Right.
Like the tragedy versus like switching it around. No, but it's supposed to be happy.
Yeah. Yeah. The key is that we can only help people within their capacity to want to have a different perspective, and that's the bottom line. To this day, in all the years I've been doing this, I've never argued a point with anybody about my perception of our reality here. Because arguing a point, it doesn't have a positive outcome. Why do I want to be right? I don't want to be right. I have a value system that I believe I live with that feels like it resonates with truth and love and the reasons that we're here. And if someone's not open to the possibility that there may be a different version of behaviors and choices, that's okay, because then maybe I'm not the right person at that moment to introduce a new possibility or a new idea, you know. And, you know, I know you guys are in the remedial class, but when we go to New York City and we're talking about really big stuff, I'm talking really, really high up stuff, you might not understand it, but when I'm talking to them, they are ready to hear whatever the topic is that day that we're talking about, just as you are all ready to be a part of whatever conversation we're having now. Now, if you go to a barbecue on Saturday after this event, how much of this will you say at the barbecue? Very little. But you will probably find interesting little ways to say something. And it's going to be coming from your intuition about what your audience is ready to hear. So for one person, it might be something if they're really going on and on about the tragedy and they're telling you big stories. It could be that you might say, I know, and I've really come to realize that everything has purpose. And even if we don't know what the purpose is now, I'm sure it will be discovered. Whatever the simple sentence is, if you take ownership of the sentence, you're not asking them to agree. You're not shoving an idea down their throat. You're making a simple statement of your choice of perspective. And sometimes that's just enough to plant the seed. And that seed might grow in 17 years, and it might grow in 17 minutes, and it might grow in 17 seconds. Or it might not grow in that person's lifetime at all. But it doesn't matter because you haven't left someone feeling judged or angry or defensive or ridiculed. You've left someone in a place where they're hearing a different version of how you see things versus how they may see something, and that's all. It's peaceful. And what's interesting is when you have this moment to state something that you see or feel, if the other person is ready for a higher perspective, then they're going to ask you a question. And when they ask a question, you give another answer. You elaborate. And you have a way of sensing when that person has come to the edge of the expansion of their beliefs. Because something will happen. Either a cup will fall off and spill, or someone will call someone, or a phone will ring, or a baby will cry. The universe will show you that that person has been brought to their personal point of expansion. And that's fine. You can just leave them in that and continue to lead your life the way that you choose to see your life. We can't convert people. We can't change people. And there's a reason that we call this enlightenment. It's about letting more light in. You can't force light into anyone's version of reality. It happens. If it doesn't happen in this lifetime, it'll happen in the next one. Or you get a piece of it now and a piece of it in the next and a piece of it in the next. It's going to happen. It happens to all of us. You know, sometimes it's a little frustrating for me to hear the ignorance in certain circumstances out there in our country, because I feel like you guys, you know, you're making your own life so hard. Just let it go. Just love. Just be happy. Just stop judging. Guarantee you're going to be happier. You'll be happier. But I can't go out there and say that. I can't go out there and say that to everybody. It would be fun to go out there and say that to everybody. But that's just not the way it works. Everybody wakes up at their own pace. Sometimes very, very slow, and sometimes very, very quickly. And to make things even more fun, let's add something else into the mix. Usually two people who are connected don't increase their positive level of awareness at the same pace. So you get all that going on, where you have to say, wow, that was the longest 7 minutes I ever just spent with that person that I just spent 30 years with. You know? And that kind of thing happens. Like, wow, if I spend another 7 minutes with this person ever, I don't think I'm going to get through it. And then you have to figure it out. What's going on here? Well, they're watching the news. They're reporting everything. They're telling you the details. Then they're complaining about their hip and their broken nail and the lawnmower broke. And wow, that's enough. That was enough, right? That was 7 seconds. I had enough. So you have to make choices about how much of that you want as your growth continues. And someone that you're hanging out with, their growth might not happen. Might not happen at all, or it might not happen at the pace that yours is happening at. All right, we're going to take a break. Grab a cup of coffee, mingle, talk to people, and bring your questions about our topic back. And we'll meet back in 10 minutes, okay? Anyone that's new, rest Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Good to see you all again. How have you been? When you guys are mingling and chatting it up, I always feel like I'm an afterthought. Like, hello?
No.
Remember? Another reason you're here? Before we get back into any topics tonight, I just want to put out a reminder that I really encourage everyone that attends any events of mine to support each other. And one of the ways that I like to show my support is to ask people to put out whatever service or book or whatever product it is that they're working on or they're passionate about. So there are some things on the table tonight on the side and in the back. So take an opportunity to look at what some of your fellow souls are up to, and please support them, okay?
Okay.
And I know someone brought Creations magazine. I think it was about a year ago that Andrea was here. Who was here? Like when we did the crystal bowls? That's about a year now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a while.
Both here.
Yes, I know. I was just thinking about when Andrea brought. That was fun. We had such a good time. It feels like, I don't know why, it feels like it was probably summertime when she came, but I don't remember.
I think it was February or March.
Oh, good. It
It
was either like 95 and humid, or it was like 2 feet of snow and 15 below. It was one of those, I'm positive, because I am intuitive, okay? That's why I know. It was one of
It was
those.
hot that day, though, that's.
Okay, it was a hot day in February.
I think it's time for another one.
Record-breaking temperatures in Las Vegas today, people. Record-breaking. Another reason to go to Las Vegas.
Don't decide when you're there.
I'm not drawn to Las Vegas, in case you guys haven't figured that out. Okay, so did I say what I was going to say? I don't remember. Yes, I did. Okay, good. I'm back, and so is Don't. Don't is also back. Poor kid. And the last time she attended something, never mind, I won't bring it up.
Wrecking ball?
He still has nightmares about that day.
I think I blocked
it out, wasn't it?
Messy.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Messy Megan.
At the
She's a, what did you call her, a wreck? Or
yeah. I called her a wreck, and I meant to call her a wrecking ball. And it was a tiny little misuse of the English language that has haunted her for the last 9 months, 10 months.
That's funny. That was hilarious.
Oh my God, a wreck. Among 80 people, 80, 90 people there, and I called her a wreck. Well, anyone that knows Megan knows she's a wreck. But she's recovering.
Yeah.
We're getting her a little bit of help, and she'll be fine.
I just keep telling everybody. Just go, it'll go away.
They made it better tonight, right? All right. So does anybody have any thoughts or questions about, just...
I have not been able to figure out how the first incident in Orlando played into everything with that artist being shot. I pretty much figured out the last two, but the first one doesn't make any sense to me.
Okay. Is that everyone familiar with that one?
Well, if you take what she said, and I don't understand how the alligator and the child come into it, but that girl, like many aspiring musicians, got third place in The Voice and now had an audience, and she thought a career. She was a Christian singer, I think, singing Christian songs. But again, if you're into music, you don't wait until you make it. You be happy now because you don't know how long your career or anything is going to last anyway. But I don't understand, and I was trying to ask her, what the significance of the alligator, unless that was to scare parents from not thinking they had to get their kids to Orlando.
Okay. My understanding of her was that she was very happy. So that's my puzzlement.
Okay. One thing to remember, and that's one of the reasons why I try to make it clear that, we're not blamed for the bad things that happen to us. Sometimes when people are learning about energy and how we create a reality and we project and receive back the echo of our projection, they feel as though they have personally created anything that's below the line or negative or challenging. It's not exactly how it works, because there's other factors involved. Number one, as I said earlier, we're co-creating a reality. We're not living in isolation. We can't be the only one that's creating exactly the way that our life unfolds. We can't be. So factor number one, we're not alone. Factor number two, in the creation of your reality, yes, you can all say it together, the formula for how we create a reality. What you think plus what you feel plus what you believe plus the subsequent actions that you take based on what you think and feel and believe create our physical reality. It's a formula, you can't undo it, you can't opt out of it, that's it. You figure out what's not working in that formula, and then you understand how you can shift your own reality. However, it's simplistic only in saying that you are the only one whose thoughts, beliefs, and feelings and subsequent actions affect your reality. It's simply not true. First of all, the people that you're most intimately connected with affect your reality, either because they're affecting your energy or because they're swaying your choices, or they're swaying your perceptions, or they may be pushing you to go to higher places when you might not have had the courage, or they may be providing boundaries that you believe that might make you stay stilted instead of moving forward. So other people have that effect. But also collective consciousness has a major effect, not only by everyone in a region or a community, but then anyone in that country, or anyone in that religion, or anyone in that political organization, or anyone with that whatever they have in common. And then beyond that, everyone on the globe. And then beyond that, everyone who's ever been on the globe. Energy doesn't die. Energy always exists. So the consciousness of all people are creating a reality. So that's factor two, why it's not as cut and dry as we think it is. A happy person can have unhappy things happen. But the third factor is that in addition to not being the only one projecting reality for her, and also having her own belief system that we're not exactly clear on. Someone can appear happy, and maybe we don't really know what's going into their formula of what they're thinking, feeling, believing, and the actions that they're taking. But the last part of it is that when we are choosing to take on a physical life, we have a quest. And that quest is very, very, very well contemplated. And it's altruistic, it's beautiful, it's magnificent, it's expansive, it's beyond this world. And we each believe it's doable, even if none of that we came anywhere near it in the last 27 lifetimes. When we leave this time, we're going to do it. We think we're going to do it. We believe we're going to do it, right? So it has an energy that affects our reality as well. It's a fuel and it's an energy. So if my quest is so vivid and so strong that if I leave my reality here at the age of 42 or 12 or 56 versus 91, and I can have a bigger opportunity to put ripples of good, positive possibility in the waters of the people I know or love or humanity in general, then that might be the best path. It's not a conscious choice, but it's a factor of energy. So at the age at which she returned home, we can't necessarily completely understand how all of those factors allowed her to be a possibility of waking others up, a possibility of people thinking about things differently, a possibility of perhaps people who are very staunchly opposed to any modification in gun control laws, to have this maybe be their spark for a new perception. It's going to happen somewhere. Someone's going to have a new idea based on that one particular incident. And that's what happens is in the evolution of us, like I said, us as souls, we don't care about the numbers of years that we live here. When we're on Earth, we sure do. But when we go home, we don't. It's not even a factor in our perceptions or our comprehension. I didn't realize that she was a Christian singer. There is a link oftentimes between people who are very, very fervent in their Christian beliefs and those who are fervent in their belief in not having any increased gun control regulation. So even that link, maybe it's not an absolute link, but there's enough evidence that there is a connection rather frequently with a lot of frequency. So it could be that she might be the spark for those who are staunch in their belief to open up to a new possibility. Okay? So this is the way you want to keep viewing things, that there's more than what we see. There's always more. Okay? It goes, yeah, fine.
Couldn't it just be a possibility that the tragic things happened in the happiest place on earth because their one vibration is low, but the higher vibration, which I was just saying to Susan, is to watch the people and how they react after the fact. So when all of those people were killed in the nightclub, the reports I read the next day were all of the people who stood on line to give blood, and then all of the people who brought food to the nurses who were drawing the blood and then handed out water to everybody online. And somebody said, it's tragic, and you pray for those people who died and their family and hope that they crossed over, great, but then watch the goodness that comes out of the badness. And maybe that's what's supposed to be raising everybody's vibration as we all awaken as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. However, the only thing that I'll say, I'll shift a little tiny bit on, is I don't think that we had to be in the happiest place on earth to have that response. Because even if you look at like Flint, Michigan, or other things that have happened, 300 plumbers from around our country got in their own vehicles and drove to Flint to help with the water. So, yes, I totally agree. But as I said earlier, it is to look for the love that brings the evolution around that event. But I don't think we're isolated anymore for great human experiences and choices and actions. I don't think there's any limit anymore. Okay? I think those walls started to break down that wall started to break down decades ago. And we witnessed it even after 9/11.
So you could be right, because about the guns and about the singing and how singing brings happiness, but what about all of the deaths of the animals that have been happening around the world that everybody's been seeing, the lions and the elephants, and because that child wasn't killed by the alligator, the child's body was found intact, and they started to kill the alligators to open them up to find the body, and so maybe it was to bring, I don't know, more awareness to the animals, that it's not really, you know, just the parents not watching the kids or the kids wandering off.
Well, there are a couple of sides, and I spoke about pulse, and then I talked very briefly about the singer, and I was going to talk last about the alligator circumstances. And there are infinite possibilities of the way that we can focus to increase our ability to give or to receive love. For one person, it could be having your grandmother teach you how to do needlepoint. For another person, it could be about hearing about an animal that's almost extinct and giving money to that cause. For another person, it could be going to where an animal is becoming extinct and putting yourself between the body of the animal and the body of a person with a gun. Everyone has the things that it is that spark them or ignite them. There's a complex number of factors as to what it is that makes you passionately focus on something that can awaken your ability to express love. But there's such an enormous number of people on earth. That's one of the reasons why there's such a variety of opportunities for us to feel that passion or that ignition. So, but let's talk about animals. There's been a number of incidents over the last couple of years that have made international news, and these are incidents that are bringing forth the people whose growth opportunities are coming through the love of animals that they believe can't protect themselves, or that we are their only enemy. And it's happening over and over again, like the incident with the gorilla and the child at the zoo, the incident with the lion that was killed after a $50,000 fee for the hunt. These things are making really big news because things connected to preserving the possibility of life for creatures in their own environments or whatever environment we have encapsulated them in. It's such a passion for so many people. It is their avenue for expressing and feeling and growing in the vibration of love. Okay? So yes, there is a mixture there. And interestingly, an alligator is a kind of odd mix in the whole idea of protecting animals. Because we have look at it. Look at our hierarchy of judgment. We have a hierarchy of judgment. Republicans, libertarians, Democrats, we're stacking them all. We stack everything. We stack everything in our minds: hair color, eye color, weight, car you drive. We have these stacks, right? And in the scheme of things, lion, yeah, gorilla. Yeah, I'm in it, yes. But alligator? I don't know. And that's like mosquito, alligator. I'm going to go with the alligator. Mosquito's getting really bad press right now with this whole virus. I'm going to go with the alligator. So it's interesting that people are coming out and supporting the alligators when it's not necessarily an animal or a creature that people would rally around and want to support. So it's giving a whole new opportunity for another round of people that just support life or habitats or protection, that they're coming into the conversation as well.
Doesn't it reaffirm the simplicity of life?
It does.
And a dangerous animal like an alligator, who we've known for thousands of years, do not bring young children in their habitat.
Yeah.
Or
don't bring the alligators into the Disney World. That was too.
Well, like you said, it was uninhabited, and that's the Everglades, so that's their natural habitat. So maybe they couldn't catch them all, and
well, I don't want to go into too many details about that. There's plenty of places in Florida where someone found a cute little alligator and raised it in their tub, and boom, ran out of chickens and steaks. And mom said, get rid of that thing, and the alligator is in a lake.
Yep.
There's a lot of alligators in man-made lakes down in Florida. So it's neither here nor there. It's about that even the animal kingdom is here in a cooperative agreement with the development of souls to grow and to accept and to live in kindness and appreciation and to find solutions to things that we might not perceive that there are solutions for. Okay? Here I have to go back to the, I haven't read anything. I just talk to enough people every day that I get the news in snippets because of something that a client might be upset by or heard or whatever, and that's how I get my news. So if I'm ever not on the mark, forgive me. But I have heard about a lot of backlash toward the parent of the boy who had the, I can't even say the words, but the alligator incident. Now, here's the thing. I talk about this over and over and over again. When we care about something and it matters to us, if we hear about something bad happening to someone or something similar, our first reaction, if we're not very evolved, is going to be to figure out why it could happen to them, but it will never, ever, ever happen to us. That's it. It's almost like the only way I'm going to sleep tonight is if I can figure out how my son is not going to be eaten by an alligator if I take my kids to Disney World. So now I have an explanation because you are at fault. You're a bad parent. You allowed this to happen. This is all your fault. It can't ever happen to me and my child because I'm not a bad parent. That's the purpose of it. The purpose is for someone to preserve whatever it is that they believe is the thing that it is that's making them happy. And in this case, it's their child, their grandchild, their niece, if they're a teacher, their students, whatever it is that they're imagining, they are trying to protect that as not having any possibility whatsoever of experiencing the same demise. Okay? So that's where people who live in fear go. They go to blame. Blame is a very, very low level of awareness vibration. Very. It's almost as close to the vibration of hate as you can get, and the vibration of fear. They're all there, lacking in the vibration of love. So if you have not awakened yet, if you're not doing the journey to see things from a loving perspective or through the lens of love, then blame is going to be a place you're going to go and you're going to stay. And it's not going to make you feel good either, but at least you may have a tiny little bit of feeling that the thing that it is that you care about that's similar to the thing that was harmed is going to be okay. You know, a great example is how when, you know, with DWIs and teenagers, you know, how quickly people jump into explaining how someone else's child can die as a way to make themselves feel comfortable that their child can't die, you know. But this is another, you know, there's so many ways that messages are flying into us. There's so many ways that the universe is conversing with us, asking us to quickly wake up. Stop going the slow route. Let's get there a little bit more quickly. We don't have to go as slow as we went 1,000 years ago. It serves no purpose. And the way we can even validate the fact that this is the energy of the universe connecting and conversing with us is to see, again, the advances of communication and transportation to make us connected as though we're one person around the globe. We couldn't do that 100 years ago. You know, before the advent of cars and planes and all of the ways that we are going from one region to another with ease, and then throw in the internet on top of that and all of the progression from no cars to internet, it's that the advances in technology are a mirrored reflection back to us, showing how quickly we are understanding our connectedness. And it's become a hand in the partnership of our accelerated enlightenment. You know, oftentimes I'll have clients who are really concerned about their child on the internet and what should I do, what are my parental controls, and how should I do this and how should I do that. And the thing that I tell them is to remember that this is your child's world. When you're not here anymore, or you're 80 or you're 90, your child is going to be living in the internet world, or whatever might come after that. What you want to do is guide them into being in it. Don't prevent them from being in it. Guide them in being in it. That's all. That's your role. Your role is to educate your children. That's your role, is to educate them. So it's the same thing. It's another way for us to begin to connect, another way for us to begin to see things differently. So all of the incidents there have their own opportunities for discovery and awakening and potential beauty and growth, but all together they're making a metaphor about please don't postpone happiness. Okay? Okay? Let me see you nod. Yeah? I was asked to do that, otherwise I wouldn't have done that awkward thing I just did. Okay?
They were looking at your daughter.
No. She does not postpone happiness. Right?
Never.
Yeah. So any other questions or thoughts, or anyone want to fill in a gap that I don't know about the news of any of this? No? We're all good?
I just want to say, you said fear is a low-level energy. I think denial is too. Like, to make conversation, I'm just going back a ways, but I arrived at school and you're standing with mothers you don't know, and I said, oh, did you hear about the guy who rang the doorbell with the flowers and then pushed his way in and robbed the house, robbed the lady in her house? And they all go, that was Belmore. And they all just shut up. They weren't going to talk. Like, oh, Belmore is 2 blocks away. I'm glad you feel safe. That,
Could never happen to us.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, fear and denial are kind of, I'm sure denial's got to be down there with fear then. And not that you should, denial could.
Yeah.
There
is an actual flip side to this, though.
Yeah.
There is a flip side. That the flip side of this is we're talking about creating reality through energy. Incidents don't create our life. We create our incidents. collectively and individually. Does everyone understand that? It's a big, 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 big difference. Incidents do not create our lives. We create our incidents. Okay? So therefore, if you include in that version that what you focus on will expand, if you're focusing a lot on things to be afraid of, you're going to increase the incidence of things to be afraid of.
But then that would mean that 100 kids will get grabbed by an
Not
alligator next
necessarily.
week because all the parents are worried about that.
Well,
I would think if you live in Florida, I
It's
didn't know they were.
direct link.
I don't know that I didn't know they were, because I don't watch the news either, blaming the parents from Nebraska about alligators. I
Yes.
think that's a little,
Yeah.
cruel.
It's not a direct link. Fear doesn't cause a direct link. If I'm afraid of an alligator and having my child near, and I'm obsessively afraid of that, the fear has a vibration, not the fear of an alligator having a vibration. Okay? I can't go to an encyclopedia and say, all right, fear of an alligator, here's the vibration. I can see it and I know how to counteract it. But the fear can create the canvas for the painting of an incident that somebody could be afraid of to happen.
That's so true.
Yeah. So we want to reduce the conversation of inducing fear in one another. One of the greatest creators of fear in our environment today, and has been perpetuating for 10 years, and has created a lot of chaos, is pharmaceutical companies. You know, if we didn't have the opportunity to hear the things that we're hearing from pharmaceutical companies and have the manipulations that are used to get doctors to prescribe medications, there'd be a lot less body disharmony on earth. Okay? We're producing fear. We're producing it. We're creating it. And the more we stay in a state of fear, the less we get to stay in the state of, I am safe, I am happy, I am whole, I am fulfilled. Happiness and fulfillment and wholeness and a feeling of safety and well-being is a choice. It's a choice. It's a choice. That's why I always go back to the fact that I flew out of LaGuardia, the last plane out after Sandy. And I know part of the reason I was able to fly out there and that we had to fly low was that I got to see the mapped pattern of how Sandy affected the coast up and down New Jersey. And when you see a mansion stand and 11 wiped out, and then you see 5 standing and none wiped out, and then you see all gone, and you look at this pattern, and waterways were going around mansions and around stores and leaving them untouched. It was a metaphoric opportunity to visualize how the energy of the way that we live as humans bring in certain possibilities. So if one person had a flooded basement, the metaphor for them personally could have been that they've been holding on to a lot of old junk for a long time. So metaphorically, it got washed away and they had to get rid of it. But it also meant that the universe is saying, you got to get rid of your old junk. So look around. What are you holding on to that's no longer serving you? It's not just papers and trinkets. It's something in you. What kind of pain or what people are you holding on to that are no longer serving you? So everything comes in a way to give us a chance to see things differently. They knock on our door specifically to give us the opportunity to see something from a new angle. Everything. And our choice is, how do we greet that thing? With denial, with blame, with anger, with resentment, with rage, with fear? How do we greet that thing? It's already there at the door. Nothing you can do about it. It's there. What do you do to greet it?
You're so
That's
right.
the choice.
We had a neighbor who was so worried about losing his job. Every time there was a gathering, I'm going to lose my job, I'm going to bed, Cablevision's cutting back. He was obsessed. And then I hear he had a heart attack, and he got an infection in the hospital. So he was so worried about losing his job, he lost his life.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
you're right about manifesting maybe not alligator attacks, but yeah.
And listen, I wasn't born this way. I wasn't born this way. I was a chaos-filled, relatively unhealthy, and not terrifically happy person for a good portion of my life. If I hadn't experienced the way that I think is more commonly to live, then I couldn't say with the emphasis what the choice of living differently feels like and looks like, and to say that it's possible. I choose to know I'm safe. I choose to be happy. I choose to be in harmony. I choose to be in abundance. They're all choices. None of them happened overnight. It took a lot of dumping of old, useless beliefs and memories and habits to get to be where I am choosing to be today. And it is a choice. And I know it's a choice that's possible for everyone. No matter what your circumstances are, it is a choice for everyone.
Oh, you think I'm nice? Oh my God, my head is like popping. Oh my God.
I don't know. Did someone raise their hand?
No, I mean, I definitely would. So you see, everything is energy, right? And you're saying that it's we could individually choose by our energy, and it's collective. So somebody like yourself, like you cleared so many masks and layers for a period of time or so, and even still now. So what is like how your energy is for you, and you don't attract certain things, whereas somebody else's energy, like that's trying to get, like and trying to follow in your steps. I'm trying to say it fast, but
well, I just follow a pattern of what I've done for a lot of years. When there's a knock on the door, I first say, what is the metaphor here? Well, of course I'm going to do my human stuff first, right? Let me get that out of the way. And back then, I used to do a lot of the human stuff. Unnaturally long periods of time doing human stuff. So after the human stuff, the first when I'm realizing that there is a pathway, then I say, what is the metaphor? What is the universe trying to communicate with me? This is after Enlightenment had begun, and I understood that these were opportunities. So I would interpret the metaphor and see what was being told, or what was being suggested, or what I had forgotten that my soul knows and my human self doesn't know. The second thing that I would do is I would say, what is the benefit to me in this particular challenge or crisis or disharmony? And that was a little tougher in the beginning. And no matter what you think about happened, I broke a pinky or I had a car accident or whatever you think about, you can come up with a really quick, snap answer, and you're right. You can think of a benefit in what it is that happened. And I think everyone in this room has the capability of doing that. Outside of this room, maybe not. Inside this room, everyone can come up with a quick answer. But there's another answer. What's another benefit? Oh, there's another answer. What's another benefit? All right, rest on that one for a little while. Okay, there's another benefit. Because there's nothing that happens that only delivers the potentiality of one benefit. It's complex. There's multiple benefits delivered in every challenge, crisis, or disharmony. And so the more you pay attention to interpreting the incidents that come your way, the less those incidents come your way. It's a byproduct, because as I'm learning to converse with the universe, and as I'm learning to comprehend and interpret my interactions with this world, I increase my vibrational energy. When I increase my vibrational energy, I'm getting closer to the vibration of love. The ultimate protector in the universe is the vibration of love. When you vibrate closer to the vibration of love, less bad stuff happens. It's just the way it goes. It's about energy. I can't narrate that to the universe. It's a byproduct of my choices. I didn't even know it was a potential to happen. I became a witness to it for years after I started to remove my masks and layers. But I always stayed active to that choice. The times that I would sleep or go back to my old ways or stay in suffering or self-pity or martyrdom or lack, wherever I was that I used to be, if I revisit those places, more bad stuff happens. So I had to activate the choice. The tool that we talked about last week, I used to butt-eye. It sounds, maybe silly or superfluous. It's not. That was one of the tools, was for me to learn how to switch my thoughts that were not productive, to flip them around, turn them around, change the energy, feel different, put a different vibration out there, receive a different vibration back. I chose actively to do that as often as I possibly could.
Thank you.
I have
You're
seen,
welcome.
though, and experienced people who were very loving, and because of the tragedies that happened to them, were even more amazing because they stayed loving and not resentful or going bad places. But they've had a lot of bad things happen to them. And then I've seen a lot of people who are not nice and definitely not vibrating out of love, and nothing happened to them.
See, I know, this is confusing a lot for people because we think bad things happen to bad people is the equation we should have. And I'm using the word bad tonight, and I'm not even comfortable using it. As you guys know, I usually use a different kind of phraseology, something to do with where we are along the vibration of love. So it's really not bad or good. I'm just using it to make simple points. But a person whose soul's development is going to depend on them having a certain amount of wealth, and they use greed or deceit to get there. Okay, believe it or not, if you were to do a soulful interview with that person when they get there, they are not happy. Period. I see this over and over and over again. Your external perception of what people are happy based on what you think is going to make your life happy is not necessarily true. You're projecting your idea of happiness on them. But if we are not in harmony with our bodies, our relationships, and with the material world, it's impossible to be as fully happy as you can be.
So internally they're not happy.
Yes,
They're not
internally
happy.
they might
But you
be
wouldn't see that,
afraid
yeah.
or insecure or low self-esteem.
Right.
But even, it's terrible when someone has really low self-esteem. I mean, really low, because it's a consequence of their upbringing and their education and their community. So if they have very low self-esteem, they didn't do anything to turn out like that. But their soul's journey is to ignite self-love. So the knocks on the door for them very specifically are going to ask them to love themselves more. So whatever it is that you have that seems to have been taken away from you in your childhood is the thing that the universe is trying to help you find, that it has never disappeared. That's the goal. That's the goal. I talk about this, I make this diagram frequently that everyone gets so upset if I have a whole night here and I never draw my circles on the board. Here are your circles, everybody. Okay, here are your circles. In the vibration of love, when we're not in human form, we're unconditionally self-loving and self-accepting, and we accept and love and appreciate and understand everything in the universe and in all of existence. When we come to Earth, this line where, this is neutral, when the line where the earth meets sky, so to say, eternal, think of it as the ocean. If you are going below the ocean line, if you're going below the line, if you're going below neutral into the positive range, you are getting cut off from oxygen and you can't breathe. When you can't breathe, you have to find a way to get to the surface in order to live. So the opportunity to use negativity to help us find our source of oxygen, which is truth, love, and so on, is here for us to develop as souls. Negativity is a very, very, very strong, well-constructed, and purposeful tool to help us to try to swim to the surface to catch a breath. And that's how it works. So once I started to vibrate higher and higher, I'm pretty darn sure I was way below the line when all of this started, because that's how it felt. But when I started to vibrate higher and I started to kind of hover, maybe I was here, maybe I was there, maybe I was here, maybe I was there, maybe I was there. As soon as I started to get above the line, the universe isn't knocking on my door with negativity because it's no longer the tool that's effective for me to go to the surface and get a breath. I'm breathing. I'm happy. Then I don't need someone to shoot me up to the line to grab a breath anymore. That's how it works. You know, and that's one of the reasons I do what I do so passionately, and I don't give up on it, is because I want everyone to live above the line. That's my goal. Not that I want to correct anyone. Not that I want to reprimand anyone. I have fun when I say stuff about that stuff. That's not the point. The point is I really want everyone to be happy. I do. And I know you can get there, and I know you can learn how. So I'm going to just keep talking and talking and talking and talking until everyone gets it. Everyone on earth. I don't know how old I'll be. 91 seems to pop up a lot, but then again, I just put a seminar in the books for 2062, so I think I'll be I don't know which one it is, but I don't want to intuit that anyway. But a long time from now. What was I answering?
Question. You answered it.
I did?
Yeah.
Did I nail it?
Nailed it.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Then I went on a lot, right?
No, could go on all night for me.
Let me check the time because I want to make. Oh gosh, how'd that happen? I don't know how that happened.
It's like the time shocked you there.
Wow.
Right around it.
Time is my ally. Time is my friend. How did that happen? I was ready to read people. Yikes. That doesn't feel right. That doesn't feel fair to you. Anyone want to hang out for another 5 minutes and I'll at least pull a couple of people to read? You okay with that? All right? All right. If you want to leave, crawl underneath the table. Okay?
We're not doing any.
Because I'm not judgmental. Huh?
Nobody's moving.
All right. I need something. Can I have your bag temporarily? Back here? Thank you, Victoria. All right, let's see.
Motion.
All right, without looking, let's see who we pick. Okay, first one is Laura. Laura, where are you? Laura?
Look, I'm here.
Oh, there you are.
Laura. So
Laura.
I'm like,
Laura.
I'm like, please pick
Laura, did you? Laura, we picked you. Me and your guys picked you. So what's up, you?
Oh, I don't know how this works, so should I just tell you?
Oh, just ask the question.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Actually,
And Derek will answer it. Just kidding.
I was thinking about this before, but okay. I have a lot of sciatic pain right now, and it was getting better with physical therapy, and it's just getting worse again. I'm still doing the exercises, not as much, but I know that what you were talking about before, about having pain, especially like in the legs, it's a link to moving forward and not being able to move forward. Now, I had that challenge for a couple of years while I was contemplating creating my business.
Yes.
The horse coaching business, which is now, really taking off and starting to go really well. So it's like I feel like, why am I still having this pain? Because everything's all good, although it feels like things are almost happening too fast. I keep saying, thank you, I can handle it. But I'm still having a lot of pain, so I don't get it.
All right. This is an explanation for everyone, not for you. Okay, so don't listen. Okay. One thing to remember is that we are physical, actually physical, right? Which means that there is this thing called physical science. So number one, there are things that are going to happen within your body that are chronic or long-term or, resistant to remedy that are based on the physical, conditions of our anatomy and our collective belief system about what the body is capable of doing, okay? It doesn't mean that there's anything in our body that we can't shift or change ultimately, but right now we have a level of awareness that there's certain things we collectively agree we can't do, like grow back a limb, okay? So, for example, I have all of my vertebrae are fused together. So could I have my this metal bar going down my spine surgically removed and have them unglue my vertebrae and then live happily ever after? I cannot. physical science says that I have this condition and I have to have the metal bar and the fusion for the rest of my life. And I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly okay with that. Eventually, I'll do all the healing with my mind and fix it all up. But I don't think I'm going to get to it in this earth life because my belief system that this is going to stay a condition is so strong. I don't want to waste the time putting all my energy to getting rid of that one particular belief because it's a pretty firm belief. So that's number one. So sometimes when we do find the metaphor for our disharmony and the benefits for our disharmony, it doesn't mean that the illness or the injury is just going to dissolve. Some of it can linger simply because of physical science. Now, I was saying this doesn't apply to you. So now back to you. Pull your fingers out of your ears now, Laura. Laura. All right, Laura, for you, what I'm getting specifically for you is I'm getting that there's a resistance of an opinion of someone I believe that you grew up with that would not necessarily embrace and endorse what it is that you're doing. So you have this lingering stuff of the worth, your own worth, in the pathway that you're now living by choice. Okay?
My mom, I could say my mom comes to mind, but she is supportive of it, but she doesn't really understand it, what I'm doing.
Yes.
But she
so when you are,
she is.
So metaphorically, she has imprinted you with a desire to prove your merit in your choice, right? And that energy comes into play when you're communicating sometimes what it is you do for other people. Yes, there's going to be a fair number of people in highly evolved circles and communities that embrace and endorse and accept and want to be a part of what you do. But the majority of people are not there yet. So the energy that was affected by your mother is going to be a little bit of a resistant energy in having that feeling of needing to break these barriers down.
Right. Like at the beginning, I had a hard time even explaining what it is that I do.
Yes.
People weren't getting it. Now.
Yes. Yes. Okay? All right. Good. I'm also seeing hot water and swimming as good potential remedies for you. Okay?
Okay.
All right. All right, good. Good? We're all good?
That's good.
Huh?
Chop, chop, chop.
Let me talk about the next one.
Get those answers out.
All right, let's see. Next one is... I don't believe it. That's funny. Tom. Not your beautiful wife, but you. So can I pass it over to your wife and let her ask that?
Sure.
No, I'm only kidding. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that.
So I just started a new job yesterday. How's that?
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
How's that going to work out for me?
How's it going to work?
Pretty
Where's that freaking psychic in the house? Really? My magic 8 ball is out of batteries. I'm so sorry. No, I'm only kidding. Actually, I have a really good feeling about what the potentiality is for you. So the suggestion from your guides is that you still have, and I'm going to get the number 3, you have 3 misbeliefs that are kind of hanging on to you a little bit heavy. And it's just important that you take the time to try to get rid of them, okay? All right? Do you know what they 3 are? I'm sure your wife will help you figure them out. Yeah, she's looking forward to it. I think that's the answer. But, yes, I see a potential really good path there. Get rid of those 3 things, and I think you're going to see wonderful opportunities open up. All right? Okay, cool. Good. Should we do one more?
Yeah, chop, chop.
The way you're going, we have time for 6 more.
Yeah. Anyone sneaking out underneath the table yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, speed reading. I love it. That was funny. Speed reading. That's good. Oh, that was funny. Okay. Marianne. Wow, how cool. You drove about 2,000 miles to be here with us tonight. 625. And this is your reward. I said thank you for making the long ride. Marianne is with us every month virtually. She's not here with us every month today.
Oh, gosh, I didn't know a question, huh? Is this, okay.
I've had difficulty in finding work down in North Carolina.
Okay.
I'm an accountant, and so I'd like to have more understanding of what that's about.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Number one, this is a suggestion that's being made from your guide, and most people here know me well enough to know that this is being made specifically for you, not because I'm like some kind of altruist and say everybody has to do good or anything like that. But it is being suggested that you volunteer your services for something that it is that you like down there, something that you care about, all right? Like get on the board and do their financials or something in a capacity that would make you happy. And the reason is, number one, it'll help you to build community and contacts and network, but also it's going to cast you in that area in the light that represents who you really are, which is someone that cares about certain things or causes or community. So by choosing a place that you would like to volunteer for, you're automatically going to get yourself into a circle of influence that are connected to what it is that you're vibrating about, okay? The second thing is that, it's not your life passion. So the other thing that you want to, not any longer, the other thing that you want to do is to try to research organizations that fit your idea of a higher vibrational energy organization. So don't just go look for a job, because if you're not that satisfied with the work itself, you can temper that resistance by working for a company that you love, okay, or with a person that you love, okay? So those are the two suggestions that are being made for you.
Okay.
All right, sound good?
Yeah, it's just, of course, I'm not sure what that is, of course.
I know.
That's been one of my issues.
Oh, you mean what it is that is your heart's?
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah. Well, I think that, I know there's a lot in what they said about volunteering. Because, think about the step, what goes on before that. You got to make a list of things you would volunteer for. You got to check out organizations. You got to see what makes your heart sing. So believe it or not, like even if I give a very simple answer like that, there's a lot that goes behind it. So you're actually getting closer to finding out what it is that you want to do while you're there simply by doing the first step of this exercise. Okay?
I mean, honestly, I have to say that Debbie knows this is what I've talked about in the last week or so, that I don't know, okay, that I need to volunteer somewhere. I mean, that's intuitively what I realized, and but I've procrastinated and of course not sure where to go. So this is helpful to kind of a next step, like you're saying, to get to actually do that.
Yes. And I'm going to add a little something to what you just said too.
Okay.
Listen, we live in the real world, and the real world does not necessarily value and appreciate a volunteer just because they're volunteering. Okay, that's not always the case, but sometimes it's the case. So your guide specifically asked you to volunteer through your financial knowledge, using your accounting as what it is that you are contributing. And now if we're going to build on this, the reason is because you're putting forth, you're identifying yourself as something that it is that people already appreciate and value, okay? So rather than seeing you as some New Yorker coming down here to, retire here, and you're just going to live off our land and not do things our way, they're going to see you as someone that they can respect automatically. It's almost like your calling card. It's almost like you're breaking down doors of perception before they're ever put up. Does that make sense to you? It's a way to enter into the work part of your life down there and have people already appreciate something that they find appreciable. Do I think it's a good thing that this is people's perception? That someone that's an accountant might be a more valuable volunteer than someone who's picking up bucket? No, I don't think it is, but that is part of the illusion that we live in, that we value certain aspects of what someone can contribute, unfortunately, more than other aspects of what it is that people can contribute. Okay? Does that make sense? It's not just about volunteering. The volunteering part is great for you, if you want to volunteer for something. It's about
Right.
volunteering what it is that you can contribute that allows people to get to know you on that basis.
Oh, okay. I mean, actually, I have I like to sing, so I belong to the Sweet Adelines. And I did volunteer for to be on, it's not for profit, on the board to organize the group. And I'm supporting the financial coordinator right now.
Good.
And so I am doing that, so
That's
I wonder if
fantastic.
that's the thing.
Okay, how long?
A couple of months.
All right, good. Then let it grow and keep your eyes open for something else. And that means you're listening to your guides as well.
Right.
Because that's pretty specific.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
All right, good.
Great, thanks.
All right. Oh, I don't know, should I?
Yeah, do it.
One last one. Terry said so.
I thought you were gonna do 30 more.
One last one. Come back on someday.
The next date, whatever that is.
We figured it out, right, Michelle? What's the next date here? August 10th.
10th.
Yes, we figured it out.
Ah.
Okay. And the last one is
Terry.
Derek.
Oh.
Terry, right? Wow. What, you know what? There's 27 more Dereks in here.
I have nothing to do with that. I was wondering why I didn't get picked. How did those other names get in there?
All right, here's your Derek. Okay, Derek, what's up?
I don't have any questions.
I know, we're just talking.
So I don't know. Whatever pops up, I guess. How's that?
Another Derek.
No, that was you. You did
Secrets
it.
out. Secrets out. I don't know. Anything pop up, I guess?
Pop-ups.
Pop-up books?
Pop-ups. Now, the only thing that's popping up is just a continuation of what we were talking about. And, do you have a sketch pad?
Yeah, I have
You
a
do?
couple.
Okay. That's what's popping up again.
All right, so then I have a question.
Okay.
So we talked about that, and then I spent the whole day just kind of brainstorming. I came up with a ton of ideas, and I think I kind of know what I'd like to do with that idea.
Okay.
And together. And
Okay.
so I don't know.
Multifunctional, multi-purpose.
Yeah, so
Okay.
what do they think of the ideas I wrote down?
They like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6. 8's out, and 9 and 10 are really good.
Okay.
Okay? 8
Sure.
is out.
8 is out?
8 is out.
I don't know what that one is.
Okay. No, you're definitely heading in the right direction. Okay?
Okay.
And keep thinking about how you can easily transform the space to make it multi-use. It's not about taking the space and dividing it into all of those sections. It's about
Okay.
making sure that you can reconvert the space readily and easily, like within minutes. That's where they want your mind to be.
Okay.
Okay?
That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm seeing, what's really popular now where people are using barn doors on the rolling tracks.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm seeing that even on the interior as well as the exterior. Okay? And that's an interesting way of seeing that you can move things around or shift things.
Nice.
Okay?
That's cool.
No, but you're definitely on the right track, and they like the way that you're thinking, too. They like where you're going with it.
All right.
Okay?
Sounds good.
Cool. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody, for being here. I'll see you all 1 month from today, July 21st, at the beach seminar, and I will have supper and s'mores and songs and sand, and Derek will be accompanying us with his guitar. And bring a sweatshirt. It gets cold out there at night. Thank you, everybody.